install MongoDB library, and we installed that MongoDB library. You can go to terminal and you can install here np install MongoDB. Right, it has to download and install from online. Once it is installed, how to connect and how to read, insert into database, those basic code I have given to you. Now what we learned till now is, so we have database. So in the database we have database, and database is MongoDB, and we have server side Node.js server side, and we are communicating here. We are writing a logic to connect with the database, get the data from the database. Now we need to send the data to client. To send the data to client, so we need another mediator. We need another one, and we call this as middleware. We need a middleware. Middleware is a software which is responsible for handling communication between the client and the server and the network-based applications. In network-based applications, entire communication is handled by middleware. That means whatever is present in Node.js, it is translated into understandable format of client, and it will send that to web server. We usually have a web server. Web server, already we know IIS, right? It will send to web server. Web server will manage the response to the client. That means from client a request will come. From client a request will come to web server. So from web server it will go to middleware. Middleware will communicate with server side, and it will get the data and send the data response to the client. So up to now we done this part. We have database and server side technology. Now we need to create, we have to configure middleware. Through that we need to send data to the client. Up to this part we finish it till now. Now how to configure middleware, how middleware sends data to the client, that is the important part. So let's see how this entire process works. And usually this middleware will send the data in the format of JSON, JavaScript object notation. Now client side we have to use HTML, JavaScript, jQuery or AngularJS to consume the data and present the data. In AngularJS and in JavaScript I told you how to consume data coming from API, that we will see now. So first point is how to configure middleware. There are so many middleware softwares. We are using a middleware software called Express. We are using a middleware software called Express. Right. So how do we configure and define the middleware? We are using this Express. So how to do that? Let's see. And usually this Express is a middleware which will manage the request from client. Usually request will be like get, request will be like post. We use get for fetching information. post for submitting information, right? So we need to handle that. So let's see. So what we have to do now is go to our project, and here you need to install one more. So go to server side. Okay, here you need to install another package, and that package is npm and install and express. Express is a middleware. So I'm installing that. Software now using middleware. Technically, it is a software framework used to handle communication in a network based applications, right? So popular some of example are like Express is a middleware. So first important what we have to do is we have to install Express. So I installed Express. It says that Express is successfully installed. Okay. After Express is successfully installed, now we have to write the program. What Express will do is it will communicate with the server, and it will manage the requests like get and post. So how? On get, what it has to do, it should get the data from the database and it should send the data to client. Means it should send to client browser. There he can use any technology to consume it and use it. So let's see. So what we are doing now is we are creating a simple Node.js program, test.js. Okay, here we are writing var express is equal to require, you have to import express. Okay, then to communicate with the database we need to import Mongo client. Mongo client is equal to require MongoDB, and in that Mongo client. Okay, so we have Express and Mongo client. Now we need var URL is equal to connect with MongoDB, MongoDB : /127.0.0.1 that is the port number. Okay, now Express should manage all the requests in the application. So what we do is we create var app is equal to Express. That means this Express related all the library is now accessible by using app. Now through app we can create requests app.get. How the get request should be? If get request is, you have to write a virtual path, like if it is /get products, if it is get products, then what should happen? Get request, that means in the URL they will type like this /get products. When they type like this, what it should do? That means a get request is coming from the client. That means what they do in the URL, usually it will be HTTP colon double slash localhost slash actually we will have some port number also. We'll have some port number like 8080 and slash get products. The request will be something like this. If the request is this, then what it has to do, it should get that request, it should send the request to server should communicate with the database, get the data from database and return. That means if the request is get products, then a function will execute. This function can manage two objects, a request object and response object. These are shortcut names. We can give complete name for your understanding sake, request and response. You can give any name. I am giving reasonable names. Now two objects are generated by server. Request object is used by server in order to get anything from client. If client is sending something and I want to collect it on server, then I should use request. From server, if I have to send anything to client, then I have to use response object. So response object is to send information to client. The request object is to get information from the client. Okay. Currently, so this get, what it should do is, it should send that means whenever they make this request, it should send all the data as response. That means that products table data as response, suppose. Then what we will do is, here we will write a simple logic. So the logic is, so how to connect with MongoDB? Mongo client dot connect with URL and function. Yesterday function same, but this time we are writing in express request, means in a middleware request, and function is error and client object. Okay. So then if not error, what should happen? If not error, then what should happen? If not error, then what should happen is, so where database is equal to, through client object we can access the DB, shopping DB. Okay. Now database can access a collection is TBL products, and dot find and dot to array is a function, and this to array function will have error and documents, and if there is no error, yesterday's program same, if no error, then response should send, it have a send function. Response should send the documents to client. That's enough. That means now this is to send all the products to client. That means the products table related content will be sent to the client. Similarly, I want categories also. That means app.get. I will use get categories, and it is a function, and that function is expecting two objects, request and response. Okay. And connection, everything same. Only the point is table will change. I will copy that logic and paste it here. But this time it is not TBL products. It is TBL categories. That is how we can access. Similarly, from register table also we can get all the details. Then I have to write another one. So app dot get, I will copy that above one completely and make the change. That means another get request. This is for get registered, get users. Okay. It will get the registered users information. What is the table name? Table name is TBL register. TBL register is the table name. Okay. So 3 get requests are designed. One is for products, another for get, another for users. So server is ready. Server is ready. Express is ready to manage the requests. Now, usually what we do is after creating the requests, so you should know one simple communication actually, means technical word. Suppose client and we have server. So server is ready. How you will say server is ready? In technical words, we will say that server is listening. Server is listening. Generally, people say server started. Server started. Right? But technically, we say server is listening. Server is listening means it started listening. You make a request. That means you make a request. The server once start listening, it will listen to your request and it will respond to your request. It will respond to your request. So server should start listening. So after writing server, it should start listening. That means what you have to do is after writing all these methods, we have to write app.listen. That means our application starts listening. Clients can make a request so that our application will send response. And listening on which server number and port number you have to tell. Listen on port number. So listen on port number, I said 8080. You can give any port number. 4000, 5000, 3000, any number you can give, right? So you better give a 4-digit port number. So traditionally our default port number is 8080. Okay. Then I will put a message console.log saying that server listening on its address is this. Server is listening on http://127.0.0.1 port number 8080. That is where it is listening. And 127 instead of 127.0.0.1, you can also use localhost. You can simply use localhost. Localhost IP address by default is this one, right? That means after writing the request, server will not respond to the request. So server should start listening. Server should start listening. Server should start listening. That means it should start listening. And how server starts listening? Server starts listening by using this function. Just we have to use listen. You have to use listen, right? So that is how the listening option works. Okay. Once it is ready, now let's run this program and see. Currently we created only get requests. Okay, fine. Now run this program and see. So open the terminal. In the terminal, we have to write the option like this. What is it? Node test.js and hit enter. Then it starts and it says server listening. on this particular address. Now what you can do is you can simply click on that or open browser. You open any browser, Chrome, and in the browser you have to make that request and see in that request what requests are present. So get products, get categories, and get users. So we have to type like this: http://127.0.0.1:8080/get products and hit enter. From the client side, we are making that request, and you can see, so it has to send the data, and data is coming here. So now client side data is working fine. Now similarly, make another request. Say get categories. Get categories. It should get the categories table and show. So get categories. It should get the categories table and show. Some problem. It is throwing an error. So what is the problem in that error? Some error is TBL categories. It is there. Get categories is the method. I will compile one more time. Okay. Get categories. It is having some problem in get categories. Let's check. Response not defined. Okay. Actually, we given the word, we changed that word to res. I copied and pasted the code actually. So here we have response object, and here there is no response. It is res dot send, because in this we created response. Here also res dot send, response dot send, not response object. Okay, fine. I copy pasted the same. That's the problem. Okay, fine. Just compile it again. Okay, it started. Now let's run this and see. Categories will get the categories. Category: electronics, footwear, fashion, groceries. Suppose I am typing get products, it will get the products. I am typing get users, it will get the users. Right? How many users are there? Their information it will display like this. That means data is coming fine. Data is coming fine. Now comes the important part. The important part is data is coming fine. Now what we need to do is we need to consume and present this data in a proper way. And if you know from where data is coming, you know how to write the programs. Let's create a client side screen to consume this products data and present. Right? How we can do that? So let's see. So our data is ready, means our logic is ready. Logic is ready. Fine. Once the logic is ready, how we can consume this? So you need just this URLs. So 12700 get products. That is the URL to get the products. So how to make an AJAX call in jQuery? I told you we will create a HTML file, jQuery.html, jQuery demo.html, or jQuery AJAX.html. I told you how to make an AJAX call in jQuery, get the records and display. So So let's design a HTML document. HTML. Style sheet. Style sheet. And href is node modules in that bootstrap. Dist css bootstrap.css. Okay, fine. Next we need jQuery. Script source is equal to, so it is node modules in that jQuery, in that dist jQuery.js. Okay, jQuery also ready. Okay, now I will design a table body, and we will keep here. So I will just put Ajax with simply mean stack example. This is now mean, but only that A is not there, Angular is not there. We are using jQuery instead of Angular, right? That means jQuery call. That is just a heading I given. And we will form group and the div class as container. Okay, in the form group, here we will give a button control, and I will say submit or get products, and we will put a class here as btn and btn some primary. Okay, when I click get products, it has to get the products data and display in a table. That means we will use a table here, class as table and table hover. Okay, then we have th. In that we know that product will come with details. What are the details? Product ID, product name, price, is in stock, photo, category ID, so many are there. We can display few details. So product ID, okay, so name, okay, price, okay, and is in stock, okay, and we have some preview is photo, the path coming from there. Fine, so you can put all the details. I am giving few. Okay, t body. In this body I will give an ID body. So the body I need to add all the rows, but remember these rows are coming from server side technology. From Node.js we need to bring the data. Node.js, how it is sending? It is collecting from database and sending through an URI. This is the URL. Then what we have to do? How to make an Ajax call already we learned. You remember? Script. So it is a function. Okay, and here we will create a variable URL is equal to, so URL is http://127.0.0.1/:8080/get products. That is the URL. Okay, now how we can do? On button click, that means button click. On button click, what should happen? On button click I need to make a Ajax call. How to get the data from a JSON? So you learned, if you remembered, we discussed about $getJSON, and we can use Ajax also. I told you already Ajax calls in jQuery. get JSON URL. URL is our URL. Okay. Then get JSON. So we'll use the function. We have, right? We have done function. So done uses a callback function. In the callback function, it will collect the data, and the data collected, so we need to display. That means the callback function will return the data. We have to collect the data and display. This data should be displayed in table. We need to create. Okay. So a row. Okay. In the row, first cell, and I need to iterate every data. Then better what we have to do, dollar dot each, and it has to perform iteration on data, and it will use a callback function. In the callback function, that means the data is coming from this URL now, and the callback function, already we learned how to use get JSON and each. It returns an key, and it returns a value. Now we have to do value is nothing but it is returning one product. Okay, that means we need to create here. We need to create first one. What are the options we need to create here? What are the options need to be created here? One is a row. In the row, we need to create a cell. In the first cell, we need to display dollar. We need to display the data. Data coming from which location? Data coming from which location? So we need to get from value dot product ID. Okay. In the next cell, we need to display here. So value dot name. Okay. In the next cell, we need to display here. So value dot is in stock. And in this TD, we need to keep image, and SRC source is coming from image. Source is coming from which location? So image source, I have to define a dollar, and source is coming from value dot photo. The image source is applied. There are several techniques. We are just using this one. Now all the details are attached to the row. This row should be added to the table body. That means dot append to table. That means into that body we are adding all the rows. So everything is ready now. That means we are using an AJAX call, getting the data from database and displaying the data here. I will save this and let's run this HTML file. Remember, in the background, make sure that that API is running. That means you have to make sure that API is running. That means what we have to do, node test.js. That means the API is running. And once API is running, now you start your jQuery file. I am starting that jQuery file. And when I am starting the jQuery file, that means the HTML file where we return the code, I click on get products. It has to get the products and display the data. And pictures are huge. So what we will do is style. In the style, we will keep img. So width is 100 pixel and height also 100 pixel. So our width and height I just given 50 pixel. Okay. Now once refresh this and you click on get products, it should get the products and display here. Acha, is in stock is missing. So is in stock we will give. That means here one more is there. In the cell is in stock. Name price is missing. One more cell we will add. In between one more cell is missing. And close TD. In this cell what we have to do. So we have to print value dot price. Okay. Now I will refresh this and I click on get products. It get and display. So everything is accessing and displaying the data. Now remember, this time the data is coming. The data is coming from database through a server-side technology. We are collecting the data and displaying the data. That means now you are ready with the end-to-end application. One more extra thing you have to learn is how do we insert this into photos. So make sure that you maintain photos. So in the images folder, some photos may not be there. So in that case, obviously it cannot show. So into the images, so make sure that we kept some t-shirt related image also. Suppose in my computer we are having so UI development images, some t-shirt or shirt is there. I will copy that and I will use it here. Actually the path it is using there. Okay, and t-shirt spelling how it is defined image shirt.jpg is there. So I will copy the shirt.jpg. Okay, so we have some shirt. Those we will copy there. Yeah, t-shirt and shirt. Okay, I will copy that. And I will paste into our project location path. Okay, we copied into that location. That's fine. Now it can get the data and display that. Get products, it can get that image and display. Right. Now this is a simple example of how we can create. Now important is you can do that in AngularJS also now. Only the point is in AngularJS I told you how to make an exact. You have to use that URL. You have to use that URL. So in AngularJS how we do? So $HTTP. So we have $HTTP service. Then what we do is so $HTTP dot get, and we have to make the request to that particular URL, and we have a done method, done or then method. Then on success we need to bring the data and present in a table. That also I will show you, no problem. So but this is the basic approach of how to create an end-to-end program. Here one more extra I will show you how we can insert into database. That means we will design a form, user will fill up the form and submit. That will be inserted into the table. So that means user can add records, view records and facts. right? How to post the data, that we will see, that we will discuss in finish this example, reading and writing. Then after you understood this example ins home screen, about screen, contact screen, where we need to data and show them, right? Those screens guidance I will give you, design you have to do, right? Only the screen guidance I will give you, how to present, where to present, and the design you have to do by yourself, right? Now our logic is ready, server side also ready, one more pending, inserting. If that is also ready, then we can start building our project. So tomorrow we will do that, right? This all example I will upload. You have to try this first. Then tomorrow we will continue with that. I will upload both server side program and this jQuery program so that you can practice it. If you have any doubts, tomorrow let me know about that. Then we can start designing our project now. Okay. Thank you.